Forever. Dog.
Hello, and welcome to Outgrown, where we have a guest on to discuss something from popular culture that they used to profoundly identify with and once thought would define them forever, but then eventually outgrew. My name is Julia Vickerman.
And my name is Tom Scharpling. How are you doing, Julia?
I'm very, very good. How are you, Tom?
I'm good because I'm excited about the episode we have happening today. It's going to be a good one.
Me too. Our guest today is a wonderful artist, an animator, an art director. She's also a totally slamming hot babe, Sara Pocock.
Thank you.
Thanks
We're so
for coming.
happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No, this is exciting because you picked a very interesting topic and you have an interesting relationship to this topic.
Yes.
All right, what are we going to talk about today, Sara?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Tom, will you tell us a little bit about...
Of course, so I don't know if people know who this is, but we'll fill them in.
Sort of an
Okay.
indie name.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say,
Cut.
do either of you know his middle name?
I have to say I do not.
Oh, let me guess. Maurice.
That's a pretty good guess. But no.
Giovanni.
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio is an American actor and film producer. He's known for his work in biographical and period films, Titanic, Gangs of New York, The Revenant, right?
The Revenant, yes. Is that the bear movie?
That's the one where he gets chased by a bear. Wolf of Wall Street, so many other movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's been in so many things and everybody knows who that is, but
Literally one of the only living movie stars.
yes.
Yeah.
But now, Sarah, you...
I didn't care about any of those.
Okay.
Except for Titanic.
Titanic is the one you cared about. So let's begin at the beginning.
Yeah. So what era of Leonardo DiCaprio are we talking about?
We are talking about sort of Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet through Titanic. But really, ostensibly, I'm talking about Leonardo DiCaprio, but really, I'm talking about myself.
Of course, of course.
Everything.
And how I... spoiler alert, I'm going to be reading from like some middle school journals that
Which we're very excited
kept.
about.
And Leonardo DiCaprio, along with like some other crushes that are mentioned in this journal.
For listeners, Sarah's holding up some beautifully old-fashioned looking little journals with 1,000 bookmarks.
1,000 notations
Yes.
sticking out of
which
the
we
top.
won't be able to get to all of.
This will be a 4-hour episode, our first 4-hour.
Yes.
But like reading through these journals, I was prepping for this episode and reading back through these. And the timing of them is really interesting because I started this first one, I was freshly 12 years old, and we had just moved across the country from rural Pennsylvania, like Amish country, middle of like nowhere basically, where I had just finished out elementary school in a school that went from 1 to 6th grade. And I was starting middle school in a suburb of Texas.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
A suburb of Houston called Baytown.
Baytown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're 12.
I'm 12.
You're moving from rural Pennsylvania,
Yes.
heading to... What was the closest city in Texas? to-
Houston.
So Houston, how far away was Houston from?
Houston was like, we were like a suburb 30, 40 minutes.
Okay.
away from
So yeah, that's a proper suburb of a major city.
correct.
And how did you feel about moving?
I was okay with it when it was happening. I don't know. It's funny in these journals, the earlier entries are very like, it's definitely a little kid's journal where I sort of treat it like a captain's log where it's like, here's what I ate today and these are the classes I took. And like, I don't really have much of an inner life yet. And I think that's how I felt about the move where it was like, okay, this is a thing that's happening. And I sort of had like a very kid attitude that like kind of rolled with it. Once we got there, then I was like, oh no.
Right.
Sure. Siblings, what are we talking about?
I am an oldest daughter, so
Okay.
I have 2 younger brothers, and we're all 3 years apart.
Okay, so 12, 9, and 6
6.
at this point.
Yeah.
You're the leader of the kids,
The leader of the pack. Yeah.
right? And what are you interested in pre-DiCaprio? What are the things that you're excited about?
Yeah. So I was a very like studious, very earnest, which you'll see.
I mean, I see it every time I talk to you.
Yeah. Okay.
when we get into these. Horse girl, basically. my parents did me a kindness by buying a house in Texas where part of the property was rented out to a guy who raised horses.
Oh, wow, you're a legit horse girl.
A
not
legit
like,
horse
not
girl.
just like the vibes of a horse girl.
No. Like, I
Cool.
actually loved them. So, like, we moved down there, and at first I thought it was wonderful. I was like, oh my God, I get to go pet these horses every day. And, like, they got us dogs right away. But, like, the kids at school were really, really mean.
Really?
'Cause
Texas kids?
Texas suburbs, city kids.
I can't believe children in Texas would in any way be awful.
No, let's not paint the whole state with
Sure.
a broad
I'm
stroke.
not.
I think it's less about location and more just about like vibes. Because
Yeah.
I was basically a kid. Like I came out of the school where I had known everyone there since I started. We all grew up together. I was still wearing like sweaters with like animal like puppies on them and like
Cute.
wolves on them. And then like, I don't know, a kid like that shows up to middle school in the late 90s. It's just like blood in the water to some of these girls.
Oh my God, yeah. So you're showing up culturally. You're completely out of step with everything Texas.
Absolutely. And also I'm Mormon on top of that, which is like another sort of barrier between like me and being a normal person, basically.
And what is the Mormon profile in Texas?
The Mormon I mean, there's Mormons everywhere.
But was there a community you
There
were
was a
moving
community.
toward?
It was more my parents wanted to live in a red state, I think. They wanted
Okay.
to live like among their people.
Sure.
And they were tired of like sort of the stuffy attitude of the East Coast and Pennsylvania. And also my mom had terrible allergies, so that was part of it.
And how Mormon was your family?
Well, let me tell you. So the whole reason that I even have these as documents to look back on is because journaling is like a Mormon thing. It's like something that they push the youth to do.
Oh, interesting.
As a
Why?
way, yeah, it's when I write about it in here, it's called personal progress. If you go to like the official church website, it's now called personal development. It's like part of their official youth program. And it's like, it's all about like living your life with like the most spiritual you can be. Like you're supposed to keep a journal and keep track of like what you're good at, what you're bad at. And then based on your own observations about yourself, you can sort of figure out how to live life at maximum spiritual efficiency.
Okay.
Wow.
And like even if you look up like the recommended daily schedule for a Mormon missionary, like you wake up, you pray, you exercise, you spend 11 hours a day proselytizing, and then you go home to your living quarters and you're supposed to like journal for 30 minutes at the end of the day.
Oh,
So that's the whole reason like why I even have these. And like the early entries are like very, very, very church centric.
Okay.
Oh.
So how did you feel about all of this in terms of religion and stuff? Were you just
I was all
taking
in.
you were taking it as seriously as you could possibly take it?
So seriously, because I didn't know better to not. You know, I was just like, oh, these are the rules to be a good person. And then like it's like, this is fascinating because it starts out when I'm freshly 12 years old. It ends when I'm about to turn 15. And you can just see me become a teen girl with like more adolescent interests. And you can also see me starting to struggle with my faith. And like crushes like the one I had in Leo played a big part in that.
So pre-Leo,
Pre-Leo.
when it comes to entertainment, movies, music, TV shows, what was allowed? What were you interested in? What were you not allowed to watch or listen to before he showed up?
Leo.
Capital He, but not God.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
My non-God boyfriend. So Mormons are all really big on Disney. So I loved Disney movies growing up. But my parents were actually pretty cool. Like they really didn't limit what I watched. We had cable and like we had our own playroom with like a TV hooked up to cable. So like I would end up watching, like I'd flip through channels and I saw like Akira on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yikes.
And
that's a
my
step
dad
away.
read Stephen King and I started reading his Stephen King books at a very young age. Like when I was 8 or 9, I read
wow.
Cujo and I read Needful Things. And
Yeah, that's fascinating for a Mormon family to be so lax about the entertainment. Or maybe it's not. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it's like any family. There's ones who are like more, they pay attention more to the rules, and then ones like Catholics, and the ones who pay attention less to the rules. The difference with Mormons is like there's a bigger time investment than a lot of other churches. Like in a lot of these entries, it's when you go to church, it's for 3 hours,
Right.
and then there's also like youth programs. So like a couple of times a week, I'm also going to church. Like my whole basically social group for the first half of this first journal when I'm in the 7th grade is basically just church because I don't have any friends in school.
Sure.
But you had church
But I had
friends?
church
Yeah,
friends.
Sure.
totally.
Yeah.
Were you like in terms of the scale of Mormons? Were you like wearing the underwear or not drinking caffeine?
You don't wear the
or-
underwear until you're 18. You have to go through the endowment ceremony, which is a secret temple.
Endowment.
Yeah, where you learn how to be like a king or a queen or a priest or a priestess in the afterlife. I never did the endowment ceremony. I sort of fell out of the church before I got to do like the weird freaky rituals, which I
too
kind of
bad.
regret.
Yeah.
So you're watching stuff, Disney, this, that. 12-year-old. When is the first time Leonardo DiCaprio enters your orbit?
Okay, so I can get into this. I have it marked in this journal. There's a specific sleepover where we watched, and this was a Mormon girl sleepover.
I was going to say, is this a church girl sleepover?
Yeah, this is a church girl sleepover.
So, when a bunch of church girls are hanging out at 12,
Yeah.
do they talk about God? Do they talk about Jesus?
Of course, yeah. I mean, not socially so much because there's like so much talk about that in church, but like it does come up. Like, let me just give you the vibe before I get into Leo. Let me just like give you a couple of entries here that give you the vibe of like what I'm like as a person at this age. The biggest thing in my life right now is like church and like wanting to be a good Mormon. So like I'm writing down scriptures and like here's an entry where it's like, I would like to record 4 different scriptures in the Book of Mormon. And then like I transcribe them here. And then I'm like, this scripture means to me that no matter how much you go to church or pray and follow the law, you have to have faith in Christ to truly believe in him.
It's a good point.
It's a really good, thank you. It is a good point. But I think like even at that age, I was always kind of a cynic. And ever since I can remember, there's always been like this push and pull. Like your belief in or your faith in church inside of Mormonism, it's called your testimony. And it's like your thing that it's your responsibility to nurture and to grow and to keep strong, like your testimony in the church.
Yeah.
And I would have a lot of entries like this one where this is February 5th, 1997. I was extremely upset last night. My testimony was weakened a great deal. Dad told me to read scriptures and pray, and I do feel better now. I still worry, though, about, well, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
I
So
don't
the
know.
struggle was always in you.
The struggle was always in me, and it's something that is going to get more and more pronounced
Right.
with age.
Is this something like you, because there's a part of you that's very like logical and questioning.
Exactly.
And then there's a part of you that really wants to
be
a
good.
good girl.
Yeah.
So it's like those two parts maybe are at odds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. And like this is like how to be a good girl in Mormonism. So Dear Journal, this is March 9th, 1997. I learned a lot in church today. I've got to try to do everything my parents tell me for a week. I'll try my best. Also, we learned how to keep our thoughts clean by humming our favorite hymn or song, as long as it's appropriate, in parentheses, whenever we start to think bad thoughts. I'm glad I went to church today.
Wow.
So the bad thoughts are clearly bubbling under, and you're fighting them back
I'm
by
fighting
humming.
them back.
You're
With
humming.
what tune?
Yeah.
My favorite Mormon hymn is a song called Love One Another, so probably that one.
Sick.
Yeah, it's so sick.
So
All right, so this is who I am.
so the table is
The
set now
table's fully
for
set.
an eruption to happen in your consciousness.
Exactly, because I'm stuffing it down.
Yeah.
It's all stuffed down
Yeah.
so deep.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got so many humming tunes over it.
Yeah.
That's
no
right.
amount of humming is going to stop what's about
What's
to show up.
what's about to happen? The
Yes.
eruption.
Mhm. So this is exciting. You literally have documented the moment.
Yeah, this is a first for our
Yeah.
show.
The first mention of him is actually sort of low key because we're watching Romeo and Juliet that night. And this is the diary entry right before we watch the movie.
Okay.
We're all sitting around, we're talking about boys. This is just like uninteresting middle school gossip for the most
And
part.
you're talking about boys your own age.
Boys our own age,
Okay.
yeah. So my friend Megan is talking about this boy at school, Shay, that all the Mormon girls have a crush on.
Shay.
Yeah, Shay Brunson. He was our valedictorian.
Well, shout out to Shay.
Yeah.
Keep it real, Shay. I hope you're doing well.
Yes.
I
I don't.
I hope he's keeping his testimony strong.
hope so too. I think he is. He was always a way better Mormon than I was. Shay is the one we talked about the longest. Altogether, we have talked about him for half an hour. He is so cute. We're all about to watch Romeo and Juliet. I want to see that movie so much. Leonardo DiCaprio is cute. I suppose I must wrap it up. Time to watch the movie. Good night.
Mhm.
Yes.
Were you always
Okay.
keeping track of time-wise how long you spoke about a subject?
I'm like a weirdo, so probably. Yeah, that is something
Cool.
that I mention a lot.
So you're gonna just watch this movie. Oh, that guy's cute. Who's in it? But who you did not know what was
I had no idea
imminent.
what was about to happen.
That first shot.
That first that first shot of Leo. So let me skip ahead a little bit. I start to write about him a little bit more often. I think it's like, all right, this is March 29th, 1988. Dear Journal, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Seriously, I'm love struck. He's so fine, with a face as delicate and smooth surfaced as a doll's, and his dark personality and reckless lust for life shines through. His clear, bright blue eyes seem to blaze onto me when I look at them. He's just ... different.
Wow.
So you are 12 now.
I'm 12.
You're
Yeah,
12.
I'm
Okay.
12.
That's intense for a 12-year-old.
Yeah. That is beautiful. That's beautiful writing.
Yeah. No, that's
He does it very delicate features. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a doll.
Like
Very-
a doll. Some
Yeah.
might say, many
Yeah.
would say.
But then he also does have counter to that.
Okay.
A darkness.
reckless.
His dark, reckless personality. So here is where I go off the deep end.
Wait, why,
This is-
why did you assume he was reckless?
well, because he's Romeo. He's pretty reckless. In that
Oh, the
movie.
character.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Titanic yet at this point. I'm
He's-
just going
He's
off.
equally as reckless in Titanic.
He's pretty reckless in that.
Mhm.
But here's I'm writing in purple ink now, so you know that things are like serious.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I can read. It does get repetitive, so like when it gets boring, tell me to stop. But I'm just
I
gonna
will
launch
never.
into it.
Tell you
You're
to
gonna-
stop.
Yeah, no,
All right.
you'll stop before we tell you to stop.
This is April 4th, 1998. Dear Journal, I'm love struck. Everything anybody does or says reminds me of him. His bright eyes, his golden hair, his deep personality. His deep personality, which I know because I know him so well. Our modern day Romeo. I've only seen 3 films with him in it. So those films are Romeo plus Juliet, Titanic, and The Man in the Iron Mask. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
I
Yeah, of
remember the
course.
film existing. I did not see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
is,
saw it.
Is he handsome as well in that film?
He's double, first of all. He plays twin brothers.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like one's like in bondage his whole life. It was very much my movie.
that's
It
perfect.
was
No,
so perfect.
no Gilbert Grape yet.
I haven't got. I do write
Okay,
about
all
that
right,
though.
okay,
And I
okay.
do I have the entry for you about
Oh,
Gilbert Grape?
okay.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm not
Strap
going
in.
anywhere.
All right, back to
Yeah,
back
back
to
to his
12
golden hair.
modern day Romeo. I've seen only 3 films with him in it, but I imagine him as anyone. Oh, love has twisted my thoughts into a ball of knots and tangles. But they all lead to the same amazing young man. I think what I'm about to write is incredibly ignorant, but I think that my crush on him is deeper than anybody else's. No, crush is not the right word. Oh, I can't describe my feelings. Other girls gaze and sigh at his China doll face, his thoughtful words, but I do more than that. When I see him sleeping, what? When I see him sleeping.
Wait, when you see him sleeping?
Oh, wait. When I see him sleeping, talking to, or loving another woman co-star, I don't feel jealous. I imagine myself in her place. Oh,
Yeah.
this is so jumbled up. Let me try again. I feel like running to him, cuddling him, telling him it's all right, even if there's nothing wrong. Just sharing a special moment of love with him. I wish.
Go on. I wish.
I was as close to him as his eyes would light up at the sight of me, and he would smile and hug me. I want to feel his face, run my hand through his hair, love him in an innocent and tender way. But I'm also at a very awkward stage of feelings. I lust sleeping with men. And I need to pause here
Oh.
and explain that when I say sleeping with men, I don't know yet that that means sex.
I see.
I'm literally describing sleeping in a
Sleeping.
bed next to
Okay.
a man.
Sure.
I lust sleeping with men. Sometimes when I see him, I think of lying in bed with him, feeling the warmness of his skin, the closeness of him. I love him. I would give anything to meet him and build a friendship with him. There is no doubt in my mind that Leonardo DiCaprio is the most handsome and sensitive person on the movie screen.
Wow. So all of this, you're running to him, you're going to cuddle him and all stuff. You're 12.
He's 10 years older than me.
He's
So he was
23
20.
at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to run up to an adult
Yeah.
and you're going to comfort him.
Even if
because-
nothing's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's just picturing him, if this actually happened, he'd be like, this 12-year-old, get off me. This is very inappropriate.
Your writing style is just so fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't actually about Leonardo DiCaprio. This is
Sure.
about a girl who's starting to feel horny,
Mhm.
but doesn't have the expression for that yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just an outlet.
He's just
Yeah.
he's just an avatar for me
Mhm.
to like project all of my desires onto.
Absolutely.
Like very, very
Mhm.
innocent desires at this
Sure.
point.
So this is how you're feeling. You've seen 3 movies, but he's on your mind 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Outside of the journaling, how are you expressing this? Are you talking to other girls about it? Are you buying magazines with he's on the cover of? Are you
So I definitely bought the magazines. I bought a couple of posters.
Did you draw any pictures of him since you are an artist?
So I actually have a mention earlier in this journal about my dad finding a drawing I had done of some of the outsiders and how embarrassed I was.
Oh.
You know, Pony Boy.
Right,
Sure.
right. Wait, why were you embarrassed? Just because you didn't, it was
Because
like, oh, I have a
that was
crush.
just for me.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. My parents found a drawing I did of Michael Jackson once. I was embarrassed by that as well.
why?
Because I didn't do a good job and I knew it even as
you
a
just
kid.
it sucked.
It sucked. It was just a
Okay.
bad drawing.
It
And
wasn't.
I wrote Michael Jackson rocks
Okay.
above his head.
Yeah. I remember getting to an argument in school with some kids who were saying that Michael Jackson was an amazing guitar player. And I was like, he doesn't play guitar. And
When
I'm
has
like,
he
"Yes,
ever played
does."
guitar?
Yes, he does. I was right. He
Yeah,
doesn't.
okay.
They were just like, he's an amazing guitar player. I was just like, I think you're thinking of Prince. Like,
Okay, so what were your parents aware of your burgeoning feelings for boys? When did they like talk to you about boys?
My mom and I would talk about crushes, like in an entry that I actually texted to Tom a few days ago. There's an entry of like me and my mom watching the Monkees together, and we
Oh.
both had a crush on Davy Jones. And I think I was just, oh, my mom says he's cute, therefore I have a crush on him too. It's sort of like
okay.
I'm learning how to have a crush.
Right.
Mhm.
But like Davy Jones is cute, but he's like, he didn't capture my imagination in the same
Totally.
way
No,
that
he
Leonardo
doesn't have,
DiCaprio
he
did.
doesn't have those China doll features.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But this is starting to interfere with like my holiness.
Yeah.
Right, I was
as a
gonna
good
say.
Mormon.
before you get into this, when you're going to get a poster,
Yeah.
where are you going to? Like, hey, we're going to go to the mall, or we're going to
Sam
go.
Goody.
We're going to Sam Goody's.
Oh, like a
going to
rolled
the
up
mall.
poster.
Like a rolled
oh,
up
that's
poster.
a legit poster.
So you're going
Yeah.
and you're just like, do you have your own money at this point? Do you have to say, I want to buy this?
I have my own many, like I'm already babysitting and I'm doing like a lot of the entries in like the earlier like
Mhm.
captain's log style journal is a lot of like, here's the chores I did to earn my allowance. So like I was doing chores, I was earning a weekly allowance. I was also babysitting the kid across the street. So I
Okay.
had my own money.
So you could pull the trigger on a Leo poster
Oh, more than one.
without, yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to run it by. You just were just like, I want this poster. I'm buying.
I'm
this
buying
poster.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Because getting a poster from the mall, like flipping through the
The rack.
rack.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
That's a much bigger, I would say, like commitment than if you just buy like a Bob magazine or YM magazine and just
and
get
just
the
cut
full
out the exactly
Sure.
the,
Yeah.
the pages.
And you see, it's like,
Although I did do that too.
Yeah, oh for sure.
yeah, you find the
But-
poster you want, then you have to like get the corresponding number,
And you
in
look through the cubby
in the
holes.
little bin. You're just like 26.
This is it.
So what was do you remember the poster that you had, the first one?
It was like just the main one where it was like the hull of the ship and then like
Oh, it's like Titanic.
Titanic.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then like sort of superimposed on top of it was like Leo kissing Kate Winslet's neck.
Oh,
So
I
when
see.
you do your journals document Titanic, when Titanic entered your world?
Not really, because it's more about, like, I think just in passing, I mentioned, I saw Titanic.
Okay.
Because it was just about, like, getting more content, getting more Leo content in my system.
Sure. How many times did you see Titanic all told as a kid?
Oh my God. Well, I saw it once in theaters because it's a 3-hour movie, so no one wanted to see it a second time. But then we got it on Laserdisc, and I watched it over and over at that
Sure.
point.
Ooh, a
Then it's just-
Laserdisc family.
We were a Laserdisc family.
Nice.
Okay.
Real weird. Real weirdos.
Super weird. So yeah, tell us about This Is Fucking With Your...
Right. So
Faith.
this is an entry about a dream now. Dear Journal, I'm sorry, but I won't be able to write practically anything tonight. I only have this one weird thing that's happened to me. I think it has something to do with puberty. You see, I had a very strange but not unpleasant dream where I slept with Leonardo DiCaprio. Can you believe it? I'm so embarrassed. I hope that dream didn't count as a sin because I really can't help what I'm thinking when I'm sleeping. Anyway, it's so strange. I feel guilty for having this dream. I know I'll never be able to look at Leo again without thinking about that, but I sort of want to have it again. I know it's silly, but, well, I kissed him too. Just a friendly kiss, I believe. And it was in the kitchen, I believe, also. This is terrible. I hope I forget about it.
This is horrifying to see a child racked with this much guilt
over a
is
dream.
breaking my heart
Yeah.
to see a
okay.
kid, because you're a human being. And this is also a testament to the greatness of religion, what it does to everyone.
Oh yeah, you just feel like shit about yourself nonstop.
Exactly. This is a kid begging for forgiveness for the most natural thing that for any human being to experience. Did you feel constantly racked with guilt over this?
Always. I'll go into, like, everything I've marked on this side is like about church guilt,
Nice.
and everything on this side is boys.
Because you're even rationalizing. You're just like, oh, but diary.
It's okay. It's okay.
It was in the kitchen.
Hey, yeah.
It was in the
It was a
kitchen,
friendly
Di.
kiss
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What's a friendly kiss?
Like, what did you think
Mwah.
Yeah. No, that breaks my heart to hear a kid that anguished.
Well, it turns out we all know the end and how she turned out, and it's a happy ending.
Sure, no,
Yeah.
but I'm saying
You know,
could
ex-Mormons and ex-Catholic girls have a bit of a reputation.
I'm aware.
carry around that much. Did you feel like you had a knot in your stomach all the time? Like, what was
Not
it
all
like?
the time, but when I did feel guilt about, like, having very normal, whatever, horny adolescent thoughts,
Sure.
it did give me that knot. Because we're talking about, like, my spiritual future here.
Absolutely.
We're talking about heaven.
What did your friends, where were your friends at in their growing up? Because your experiences, were they also experiencing things like this, or were you not talking about this
It's
with
hard
them?
to tell because the way that, especially with my church friends, that, like, tween girls talk to each other is in, like, these very sort of pure, innocent terms where it's like, oh, this is the boy I like. I want to hold his hand. So I'm sure everybody was having, like, hornball, like, crazy sexual thoughts like I was too. But, like, our discussions really didn't get that explicit. Probably because I was just not an explicit person at that
Sure.
age.
And like any kind of confession stuff was not an aspect of the Mormon church.
No. Although the only time there's anything like that is to get a temple permit to go inside the temple, which is a holy space. You need to do an interview with the bishop to prove that you're, like, spiritually clean enough to go in the temple. So if I had this dream, I would have, and I had a temple recommend interview the next day, I would have had to tell the bishop about it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And how did they, in general, react to that type of confession?
Oh, they'll ask, well, did you pray about it? And what's your plan to repent? And I think everyone understands, like, how a teenager's mind works.
Well,
so
that's what I wanted. Just like they
Yeah.
were not being wildly unrealistic about. They're treating you like a human being, but they're trying to. They want you to live through a moral code.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I think the church's position is these thoughts happen. It happens to everybody. How we act on them is how we prove our worth as a person.
Sure.
Because it's a test. And you're not supposed to do you're not supposed to touch yourself. Like, you're not supposed to do anything outside of closed mouth kissing until you're married to your eternal partner.
Right.
And then you can go to Bone Town. Because then it's sanctified.
Yeah, I remember all the references to closed mouth kissing in the Bible.
Those great closed mouth because look, I can just say I personally did not have to go through a lot of stuff like this for myself, but it was definitely in the air, the idea of guilt tied to everything, even for just a growing up in a family that was a very had a very casual relationship to being Catholic. You still knew the concept of guilt weighed heavy on anybody who even slightly identified as Catholic. So hearing that it's not as punitive as I feel like it, like you were told you were like bad, like you were like
In Catholic
yeah,
Church,
like you're a sinner and you're bad.
I mean,
like,
I think the Catholics are winning the guilt race, aren't they?
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but you're getting the silver medal on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Mormons are as guilty, but the structures around the patriarchy are more in place, I would say. Like, there's
sure.
definitely, I'd say that there's more grown Mormon women who are like don't have a lot of, like, sheltered in a way than there are like grown Catholic women who are as sheltered. It's like, it's not as punitive, but the brainwashing is stronger, much stronger.
It feels like there's a hard ceiling on where you can go as a Mormon woman with just like, but look, you're not wrong, you're not guilty, you're not a bad person, but you're also not getting past this point either.
Exactly. Or like, if you are getting married, if you're a Mormon couple and you're getting married to your husband, and either of you have had sex before your relationship, like, that's something you have to confess to him and repent for, because like having a sexual past isn't just like a normal thing that you expect from a partner, like a normal thing. It's something that, like, the expectation is you enter into this, because marriage is a covenant in the Mormon church. So you enter into this covenant, like, totally purified and to create this eternal family or whatever. And the idea is you're completely clean. Like, you shouldn't have a sexual history. So if you do, it is something that you need to repent for and feel guilty about.
Man, religious people so obsessed with sex.
I'll read one more guilty thing and we'll go back into the fun stuff.
Yeah, no. This is all fun, Sarah.
Dear Journal, I need to tell you my true feelings tonight. I feel that if I don't, I'm going to explode. So here it is. I'm frightened. Not of school or monsters or scary movies, but that I'm getting to be too unholy. I watch movies I'm not supposed to, and I find myself breaking covenants to God. But I can't. I'm going through a doubting stage. I know it's extremely bad and wrong to ask God of proof, but if I felt something, anything right now, that would leave me not a doubt that our church is true, it would really help me out. From now on, I'm going to try my hardest to do everything I can to become a child of heaven. So one part of my brain having sex dreams about kissing in the kitchen. The other part of my brain is just like freaking out that this is happening to me.
And what would be the movies that you're not supposed to be watching?
Just anything.
Akira.
Yeah, Akira for sure. Like, you're not supposed to watch anything technically that's above like a G or a PG.
Okay.
But I had seen rated R movies. I was already getting into horror as well as a genre, like a lifelong love that I still have. So I think I definitely knew I wasn't supposed to watch horror movies.
Yeah. No, Sarah's taste in horror movies is pretty disturbing.
Thanks, Mormon Church.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Thanks for pressure.
part of it. Okay.
Go on.
All right. So now we're back to Leo. And then I can't read this whole entry because it literally goes on for pages and pages.
Is
and
it just
pages.
describing his face more? more doll comparisons?
Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Easter. So it's Easter Sunday. And this is the throes of my Leo crush.
Oh.
So.
And it's a holy day.
It's a holy day. Oh, and I'm also taping a lot of songs off of the radio right now. So I'm going to mention that. Right now, I'm in the process of making another tape. I finished the first one, and it's truly amazing, but there are some songs I love that I haven't caught yet. Leonardo is always present in my thoughts, and I feel guilty thinking of him when I should be thankful for Christ's resurrection. I can't help
You
it.
can't power past that. That's the most direct. That sums up your whole life. That one, like as a child, that one sentence sums up. Can you read that sentence again,
Absolutely.
please?
Absolutely. Leonardo is always present in my thoughts, and I feel guilty thinking of him when I should be thankful for Christ's resurrection.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. The problem is, I could probably not think about him if I wanted to, but I don't.
Oh, wow, you're pushing back now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to be kind of a bad girl.
No, this is you getting power, honestly.
Exactly.
You're
No,
saying-
this is me
yeah.
starting to shift my priorities a little. It's like if I lose the image of him once, he'll be gone forever. And now we're getting into some, please don't judge too hard. I have a childish hope that I'd meet him someday. He'll like me right away and we'd be fast friends. Even if I do get a glimpse of him, I won't ever get to meet him. And even if I do, which is 10 million to 1, he'd never really want to get to know someone 10 years younger than he.
Well,
I think
that didn't hold up.
That's some really good news for her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 10's a little light on the number now. So it's
Oh, but if only I could. I have an empty, gnawing feeling eating away at my heart, building up a large emptiness that can only be filled if I have this desperate wish fulfilled. In the meantime, it's eating away at me. I can be sitting somewhere and something will happen. Suddenly I feel his touch, feel his soft, warm cheek touch mine. But oh, these are not such holy thoughts for Easter Sunday. My romantic personality is starting to show. About a year ago, I didn't care for romance that much. Now I lust it. I need it. I guess it fills this empty hole in my heart for the time being. It's amazing to me how such a feeling like love can exist in such a hateful world. The crazy things it makes people do is just amazing. And of course, the love God has for us, his children, mankind.
That was like so legitimately beautiful for 1 second.
yeah. And my favorite part of your writing, one of my favorite parts, is that you say like, "Oh," you're speaking
Like a Shakespeare
to-
character.
like
Yeah.
you're truly speaking to your journal through your writing.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a monologue you're having or a dialogue with just what's out there.
Yeah.
You were a very bright kid who clearly
Yeah.
read a lot. So it's
I loved reading.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you a screenshot a few days ago where that really nerdy thing I wrote in my journal about like the magic of reading or whatever.
I loved that. It
So were
is
you the kind of
magic.
kid that always carried a book around?
Oh,
You
big
always
time.
like
always had a book.
Like if you went out, yeah, I was always like all three of us have that in common where it's just always like whenever we'll like go out to eat and then we see like a family and you see like the little girl or the little boy holding a book, like they had to bring their book to this like I get you,
I
kid.
carried around Moby Dick for a whole summer.
Mhm.
Only read one chapter.
Mhm.
Just wanted to look cool. It didn't work.
Well, it's a great book.
My copy looks very worn because I
Sure.
carried it
It could be
around.
There's a
Really
whole
great.
chapter on whales.
Yes, the first 100 pages
I
are
f-
just about
I
the
feel like I
concept
wanted-
of whales.
I just wanted to get to the part where the whale attacked the guy. I just
Well-
really liked animal
You would have had to
attacks.
read so much more.
Oh, I know.
Because this is basically how Moby Dick works. The first 80 pages are just about the history of whales. The next 500 pages, they're going looking for the whale. The final 2 pages of the book, the whale shows up and smashes the boat. The whale's following them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the final 2 pages is the whale destroying the boat.
Yeah, and also the whole book is, obviously it's a metaphor, and I
Of course.
was not looking for that. I just wanted an animal attack story.
But I'm just saying, if you wanted
I should have
some-
read Cujo like
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. I would've
exactly.
liked
If you
that
wanted
more.
action, you got to go all the way to the final the final pages of the final chapter for the whale to do what you wanted it to do.
Yeah. I think I'll just read a different book for my scratch my
Sure.
animal attack.
Sure. Or just watch
itch.
animal attack videos.
Which
You
I
just
do
type in
constantly.
on YouTube, just like animal attacks.
New animal attacks.
Yeah, you don't have to
recent
wait.
Animal attacks.
Yeah, you don't have to wait till the final 3 seconds
Not
of the
clickbait.
video. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's
Yeah.
continue on.
Oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. Wait a second. No, I take that back. I know this sounds weird, but I feel like I was giving up on Leonardo if I went out with someone that wasn't him.
Wow.
But then again, maybe having a boyfriend would fill the empty space in my heart. Oh, Leo, why did you have to be a Hollywood motion picture star? Why couldn't you?
Why?
I know, curse
Why?
the world.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have been born here about 10 years later? I feel so despaired. A dark cloud is hanging over my head. Adding on to it is the fact that it's Seinfeld's last season.
Good God, this is
Oh my God, your world was falling
treacherous.
apart. No
was
more
like-
episodes of Seinfeld.
oh.
He's somewhere, he's 1,500 miles away from you in Los Angeles, and he's 10 years older than you.
That is so fucking funny.
I saw, okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm talking about my day. We also traveled to Toys R Us and Walden Books, where I saw several books about Leo. They look fascinating. I would be thrilled to read one, to know exactly what his life, his is underlined here, to know exactly what his life, hopes, and dreams are like. He looks like a fascinating person, and I'm sure he is, too. It's
so funny because you're like, when you said it at the top of this, it's just like, all he was just a cipher for...
An
just-
avatar.
an avatar.
For everything you're looking for.
Exactly.
He's just this all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's like you don't know, you're just projecting all this
I'm
stuff.
projecting all this stuff onto
This is not about Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
Totally.
It's really about it's about me. It's kind of strange that I don't want really to meet any stars because it would ruin the mysteriousness of them. They would turn out being jerks, major Hollywood snobs. But actually, I think Leonardo would be more mysterious and shy. Deep is the word in real life. And I underlined deep. Isn't that strange that I don't feel that way about anyone else? But then again, of course, he's special. Yeah, that's so funny, though, because one of the things that I want him to be is mysterious. And when you're in a relationship with someone, that's the opposite of what a human romantic relationship is all about.
Mystery lenses of more desire and lust.
Exactly.
And novelty.
Oh, this is all about those erotic feelings. But I don't know what erotic is yet. I just know that I want to feel very intensely about this cute guy.
You've mentioned many times the hole in your heart.
That's right. The void.
The void.
Yeah.
You just wanted to get in that kitchen and
have some
give him a friendly kiss.
Some friendly kisses. Lie
Stroke
next
that
to him and
stroke
that
face, that doll-like face.
Stroke that China doll skin.
So you thought your Hollywood snobs comment is very interesting.
Well, I have a whole, if you want to hear it, I have a whole daydream about me wanting to be an actress.
Oh.
If you want to hear that.
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's see. Fold clothes for mom, blah, blah, blah. Ate ice cream.
Is that my journal
Fold clothes
entry?
for mom. That's so cute.
Oh, here we go. I've been wondering what it would be like to be a movie star. The kind that critics and talk show hosts say has a bubbly personality. I'd be that kind. I'd audition for a great drama, and of course the director would pick me. Then I'd act so wonderfully, everybody in the audience would cry and laugh and want to see my movie over and over again. Siskel and Ebert would give the movie 2 thumbs up and 4 stars. After that, I'd be in all the great 4-star movies and be on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and be the happiest, nicest star in Hollywood. This is before my crush on Leo, so.
Sure.
Oh, I see.
But here's the part about where the boy comes into play. Then I do a movie with a young man, a teen like me, a love story, and we'd fall in love and hang out together until we're old enough to date. Go steady. That kind of thing, you know?
Steady.
That kind of thing, See, that part of your writing is amazing. The idea, that kind of thing, That's the funniest and most heartwarming thing imaginable.
So cute.
And then we'd do that until we were old enough to marry and then be the happiest pair the world's ever known. We'd both act and get countless compliments from the hottest critics.
Critics meant a lot to you. You wanted good reviews. You just didn't want to be famous. You wanted to be critically acclaimed.
Well, exactly. Well, church is also about being criticized. And if I can be a good Mormon, then I'll be a good actress too.
Wow. Okay.
But the funnest time I would have is back when I was a rising star at the age of 13 with a bubbly personality. That's my biggest daydream. So what do you think? And then I signed my...
I love that. Just so much to comment on in this. It's a little overwhelming.
This is the journal entry after, Hollywood, why do you have to be a Hollywood star? Dear Journal, today was the last day of Easter vacation. I dread going to school tomorrow with a feeling I cannot put my finger on. That's anxiety. This is me from the future to tell you that anxiety is what you're feeling. I usually get nervous about going back after weekends and often bear that terrible feeling through the whole school day silently until I get back on schedule. But Leonardo is still always in my thoughts. But I think you get the gist from my last couple of entries. While watching TV, I turned to Growing Pains, a show Leo used to be on when he was 12 or 13 or around there. He was only in a few seasons. The episode I saw didn't show him. Now I'm literally possessed with him. I mean, obsessed. Now I'm literally obsessed with him. I frantically try to find pictures of him and wish to see him on TV. I guess this whole thing started when I first saw Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of funny because back at Christmas, I never even heard of him.
Amazing.
That's how fast it can happen.
That's how fast it can happen.
Wait, what you had referenced, you had an entry about What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, so let me find that.
Yeah, definitely.
Here it is.
Yeah,
I found it right
definitely.
away. Oh, I start this journal entry out with like an Anne Frank reference, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah, as you do.
As one does.
April 26th, 1998. Anne Frank wrote in her diary something that I desperately want to feel. Here it is. He held me firmly against him, my left shoulder against his chest. Already my heart began to beat faster, but we had not finished yet. He didn't rest until my head was on his shoulder and against it. When I sat upright again, after about 5 minutes, he soon took my head in his hands and laid it against him once more. Oh, it was so lovely. I couldn't talk much. The joy was too great. And that's the end of my quote. And I say, isn't that sweet? I want to feel like that someday. Have the same sweet friendship with someone as Anne had with Peter. By the way, that excerpt was from April 16th, 1942. I'm very tired. I saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape today. Before I go further, you're going to have to bleep a word here because I use a slur that people don't use anymore.
Of course, we'll bleep it.
Okay. I'm very tired. I saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape today. Leonardo DiCaprio played a young brother. He acted excellently. I still always have him and probably will until he stops making movies.
Oh, that's nice.
The
that you
artistry.
appreciate
The
it.
artistry.
Yeah, you
Now I'm
recognize
starting to respect him as
that
an
he's
artist.
a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah, and in a little in addition
to being hot.
Oh, this is the out of breath one. Okay, one more Leo fantasy.
Please.
Okay. I often daydream, usually in math class or at night while trying to fall asleep, how I would meet him meaning Leo. It's kind of strange, but when I meet him, I want to look, how do I say this? Carefree. Not in tight clothes with lots of makeup and hairspray. Just casual, maybe even a little dirty and out of breath. Of course, I'd be starstruck and would be reverted to a blabbering idiot, or worse, not be able to say anything at all. I would want to give him a picture that I was cool, confident, an average kid. I think that's
what he wants, an average kid.
Yeah, dirty and out of breath. That's what every guy's looking for. Casual, dirty, and out of breath.
Keep going.
I think that's what we're all like as people underneath, despite how much we hide our feelings, how famous or popular or good looking we are. We're all just people. All average, not better, not worse. Despite a PhD or a high school dropout, we all share the same feelings. Anger, happiness, sadness, and even fear. It's something we all feel, and I want to get that picture through to Leo if I ever meet him. Maybe it'll help him like me.
Oh. Yeah.
That is very sweet.
So this is obviously the peak of the obsession.
The peak of the obsession, yeah.
And then when did things start to shift?
I can tell you exactly when.
The beach.
That's kind of where it shifted for me with him.
Is it?
Yeah. I remember seeing the beach and I was just like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't think I ever was even aware that like, oh, I don't have a crush on him anymore. It's just like I got distracted by different crushes.
Sure. It's not like, you were not tracking, like, I don't feel the same way about him anymore. Just other things stepped in front of it.
Yeah, totally.
He just gently faded into the background.
He was usurped by the Backstreet Boys because later in this diary, it gets like very, very Backstreet Boys centric.
Okay.
But I have to say, after that entry I read about like Easter Sunday, feeling guilty about Christ's resurrection, I didn't really write any more about that after that.
No more faith-based
No more
stuff.
faith-based stuff. So like Leo really was that crush that pulled me out of that more childlike, like wanting to be pure always mindset.
Right.
And like sort of kick-started me into being like a normal teenager.
Yeah.
And like I'd said earlier, I was always skeptical about the church. And like, that's why I, had these entries where I was like, I just don't think my testimony is as strong as it needs to be. Like I remember reading about Noah in the Bible and in church, they're like, that really happened. And I'm sitting there like 6 or 7, like that didn't really Like, come on.
Mhm.
Right.
Let's be real here.
What age were you when you finally like expressed to your parents that you were going to be not participating in the church?
Around
anymore?
15-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Cool.
around where this journal ends.
Mhm.
Like I was getting into popular music. Like I had all these crushes. And then I got a real boyfriend when I started high school. And I
Mhm.
think all of those things just like opened up the world to me.
Yeah.
In a way.
Was he a not religious person?
He was a Gentile. Mormons call all non-Mormons Gentiles.
Mm.
Okay. How did that go over with your family?
They were always the church thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
with my boyfriend they were fine with
Sure.
it. They were
Sure.
my mom was relieved when I started dating, honestly.
Okay.
But with the church stuff, I mean, I wasn't very explicit with like, I don't believe this anymore with my parents until after I graduated college because I was afraid of upsetting them before my college was paid for.
Manipulative.
Sure.
It's funny. My parents actually, they were upset that I did date a Mormon in high school.
It's very upsetting.
Yeah, they were like, are you gonna?
I've never
be
even dated a
converted?"
Mormon.
What can I say? I'm an experienced lady. No, they were just concerned that I was going to.
I'm an experienced lady. What was that? What can I say? I'm an experienced lady.
No, they were just so concerned of me being like converted to things, and
Sure.
I'd already been like a raging atheist for like 5 years at that point. So it was all very funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very funny religion.
It
And I
is.
have to say, when I tell people that I grew up Mormon, there's a lot of responses are like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, did that fuck you up?" And the answer is yes, but I don't think much more than any other
Yeah.
kid growing up in the Bible Belt, like as a Baptist or something.
Totally.
And I really feel like my moral code that I carry with me to this day is based on what I learned from the Mormon church.
Yeah.
And I respect it a lot still.
Yeah, I have a weird amount of people in my life who are either ex-Mormons or current Mormons, and like I'm for some reason drawn to those people.
And I will say there is a lot of focus in the Mormon church on like self-betterment, determination, like sort of pushing through things. Like that's why Mormons excel so much in business. Like if you look at like business and capital, like Mormons are very extremely overrepresented in that sector. And I think in entertainment as well. And the reason is like you're sort of trained from a young age to always be self-critical, to always pinpoint like what could I be working on, what could I be better, and it prepares you for leadership. It really does.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is also an element of like performance, I think, that's taught to Mormons, of like making the church look as fun as possible.
That is true.
There's a lot
That's
of,
very
like-
true. It's all they don't couch it in that way necessarily,
Mhm.
but it is always be kind. And then there's no like priest delivering a sermon at Mormon church. It's the congregation takes turns giving talks on their own.
So it's much more community.
Very
driven.
much community. So
I think
like
that's always the part I was like envious of was the community aspect of the Mormon church. And I just like I at the time couched it in like I'm just fucking with these people I used to go to Mormon church with my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, I'm just kind of being a troll and collecting books of Mormon so that I can go give them out at my Christian school.
Yeah.
Because that like really bothered people.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was, had a cynical exterior, but I think inside the reason I was drawn to the Mormon situation was the community element and
Sure.
the strong family themes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was nice.
And there's also a very strong like community support aspect.
Absolutely.
Like then when I moved across the country, like I can't even describe how unpopular I was in school. Just like I wasn't like a troll. Like I was a pretty girl, like in a conservative Mormon kind of way, but I was just so like disconnected from it. Was a new place. Like they were mean city kids that I wasn't used to. They dressed better than I did, and like I was sort of just ignored. But I did have that like support of the church, and I was able to make friends in church.
Mhm.
So like I think that's why the school like very light bullying that I was getting wasn't like devastating me. Like I don't I've read both of these cover to cover over the past week to prepare for today, and I really don't mention bullying at all, except in like a very
Oh.
elliptical way.
Interesting.
Like I think, let me find, it's written in red
Oh,
to signify death, despair.
Wow, I love that you have the color coding situation going on.
So this is the most I ever get into it in these. I think because it like was something that I just didn't think about, like didn't think to feel upset about. But this is after Christmas break. I had my mom buy me a whole new wardrobe basically, and I got rid of like all my like kitty clothes, and like I was trying to dress like a city tween
No more
girl.
wolf sweaters?
No more wolf sweaters. They're all in the trash.
Oh, God.
Did
Waste
you
of a
do-
good wolf sweater.
Yeah.
Uh,
Perfectly fun wolf sweater.
All right, so I'm talking about going to a new semester in school. We're starting a new semester. I get a chance to start over, try for better grades. And a couple of classes last semester, I almost got a B. That tells you a lot about me, too.
Mhm.
I'm going to wear a
Don't
new
worry, I'll
shirt.
bleep that part out, too.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
unacceptable.
I'm going to wear a new shirt tomorrow with my tight jeans and carry my new $40 purse and wear new earrings and a new necklace and lots of new rings and wear makeup and actually look my age for once. So
Aw.
that's the most I ever referred to the part where like I was being ostracized for not
Sure.
looking like other girls.
Yeah.
This is really amazing that you chronicled stuff so eloquently, so deeply, and so thoughtfully that you put your struggle on the page
Yeah.
with things. You weren't self-censoring like a lot of people when they write. They're almost writing for posterity as if somebody else is going to read this. You wrote this clearly for you,
Oh yeah.
which is really impressive.
Yeah, that's great.
So what was your relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio as you got older? What did he mean to you
Right.
as you became an adult?
Right. I mean, I think I always remembered that period of my life fondly. Like I think everyone has really fond feelings for their early crushes.
Oh, yeah, your first big crush. It's like so
My first big crush, the one that like
powerful.
pulled me out of religious guilt, basically pulled me out of that shame spiral. So I'm really thankful to him for that. I think it would be fascinating to talk to him now and get like his point of view. Like, what is it like to grow up basically as this avatar, this like
Yeah.
blank person that like millions and millions of people like project like their own desires onto. I bet that's really interesting and probably very unhealthy to experience as well.
Yeah, he seems like he's turned out remarkably unscathed by being like a heartthrob.
When you think about it, he had a lot working against him. He growing up in LA, father was an actor, but like a working actor, just grinding it out kind of actor. Like entered that network real fast at a young age of being a classic child actor, getting the sitcom job and all that stuff. And then suddenly he became the most famous person on the planet. And what he did was he kind of, I mean, we don't know a whole lot about this guy, really. He doesn't do talk shows.
I don't know anything about
He doesn't do talk shows. He
except
doesn't.
that he likes
Oh,
young
I know
ladies.
all about
Yeah.
But he keeps you know him through his work, basically, which is kind of an interesting conceit in this day and age where everybody's saying there's so many avenues to say what you're thinking about things and to tell people, talk about the Dodgers won, awesome. It's just like
Yeah.
it's for
He
celebrities
doesn't
to say.
participate in social media.
He does, exactly. He's not that kind of, he's like an old school celebrity where the only thing you knew about them was the work that they did.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he just like yachts and babes.
Yeah. So he kind of is still what you project onto him. He never kind of said, hey, here's who I really am, and I'm going to tell you everything. So you wanting answers like that, it's like everybody on some level would want those answers from him because he's never told anybody anything about what was it like to be the guy in Titanic.
Yeah. I mean, it probably sucked for him. And I wouldn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, having that level of fame sounds like it would be a prison.
If I were to hang out with him now, I think I would enjoy listening to him and James talk about acting together, like just the technical aspects of acting.
Oh yeah, for our listeners, Sara Pocock is married to James Urbaniak.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars ep, go watch
Yes.
it.
He's known
Past
for more
Outgrown
than
episode.
he's known for more than the Star Wars episode of Outgrown. No, James is a great actor who we've talked to him. He's been on Outgrown. He's been on Best Show, and he's done so many amazing things. And so when you talk about these Hollywood snobs, also, it's such
I
a
thought
funny
you-
thing.
you ended
that
up with a
you
Hollywood
ended
guy.
up in Hollywood. Like when you're writing that, you never thought you would have ever ended up
Never.
in Los Angeles.
Never.
Which is such a funny thing that you are where, as a kid, when you were saying those things, you kind of ended up where you were fantasizing about being as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, how's it feel being a Hollywood snob?
A Hollywood snob.
Yeah.
It feels great.
Mhm.
Fuck everyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, no, I'm gonna be like, what did I say? Like the nice, bubbly kind.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with bubbly personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows you as that, which
Mhm.
they frankly do. So that's kind of cool.
That's so sweet.
I guess I'm curious because a lot of times we like to end it by asking, like, how did your crush on Leonardo DiCaprio or your journeys through the Mormon faith affect like your creative work as an adult?
Oh, well, I can answer that with a.
Oh, a prepared.
Does this answer your question?
Holy crap! Wait a second.
Okay.
We've got a drawing here. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. It's a couple, a
Mhm.
beautiful, sexy couple.
Yeah. Well, this is amazing. And that, I mean, it looks more like
Looks a-
David Copperfield.
I wasn't good at drawing
Leonardo
men
DiCaprio.
yet.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm still not good at drawing men.
Is anyone?
I'd say yes. I think there's a few out there.
Every drawing
Yeah.
you've ever seen of a
Yeah.
man is
I'm like,
just-
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I know.
in all of art history, no one's ever been able to draw
Draw
or
a guy.
paint a man.
It still eludes us.
But yeah, so
No, I just think that all of this that I vocalize in these journals, this like sort of desire for romance, like the not like erotic romance, but more like romance in a novel.
mhm.
That's still a part of my like creative loves today. Like I still feel those like big immoderate feelings like well up in me still to this day. Like when I see dance that I find very inspiring and music, and that's still a huge part of my personality and like my desires.
Yeah, you're
And-
very passionate.
Yeah, and I think having that sort of passionate and part of myself to drive me and propel me forward has been very useful.
Absolutely. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's really beautiful and well said.
Yeah, and Mormonism prepared you for being in a leadership position, which you are now
Mhm. professionally.
professionally. So
So where can people find you on the computer?
I'm
weirdest way to say that.
I'm Sara Pocock on Instagram. That's
Mhm.
probably the best way. It used to say Twitter, but I don't use that site
Mhm.
anymore.
Yeah.
And then if you want to see my games work, tiktokgames.com. It's TICTOC, not like the app with the K's. And then once in a blue moon, I'll draw something and post it on Instagram.
Yeah. I know you and I both suffer from we don't love drawing.
We
as
don't.
much as
In
we
fact,
used
I
to.
think the last drawing I did was of you.
Aw. Yes, she did a wonderful
Yeah.
drawing of me for my
Really
the invitation to my bridal shower.
Yeah, it's
It was
very cool.
Me flexing.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
This has been so much fun and so fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this, but for also doing it and being so open and sharing your journals and your story. It's really amazing. So thank you.
Oh, please, my pleasure. No, there's so much about the outsiders in here. I could come back and talk about the outsiders.
Oh wow. I've never seen The Outsiders. I need to
Johnny.
Dude, I talk about writing my own outsider stories. I also have a sex dream about the outsiders and like drawing the outsiders. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, Sarah, we love you.
Oh, I love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll be back with another episode real soon. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll
Catch
see
you
you then.
later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Call me Leo.